So what communities or what markets or countries are you focused on right now, mostly?
Yeah, we only focus on 5 countries. It's a big market, so
Yeah.
a big market sizing to invest in India, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Uganda. When we look at the number of people that are living in kind of basic and emerging consumer level, that's definitely over 1 billion people in these regions, and will grow over the next 10 years to about 1.7 billion when we account for population growth. So it's a lot. There's a lot of innovation, but there are actually a lot of synergies. In fact, last week we had a healthcare education company in our portfolio start to establish a presence and work in East Africa, just through one of their relationships. As you may know, there's a very large Indian diaspora in East Africa as well. So there's kind of just a cultural transfer of knowledge in many ways, but I think there's also a similarity in needs, of kind of the needs of people who are living at basic and emerging levels. And really, at the end of the day, what we're investing in is access to basic goods and services. So we funded healthcare and agriculture and energy access, as well as banking the unbanked, financial inclusion and gainful employment. These and also sanitation. These are all sectors that are underserving people who might have a lower budget, but individuals who live under $15 a day have a budget to spend on these basic goods and services. In fact, people who earn less than $4 a day spend over 50% of their budget on basic goods and services. And so there is a market opportunity. It obviously has to be done very carefully with higher volumes because the margins are thinner, and really figuring out how to reach consumers that are not always living in densely populated or urban areas, perhaps more peri-urban or even rural. But we've seen companies be successful in getting down to what we call the last mile.
It's amazing. We were in India for about a month last August, my wife and I, my son, and I couldn't believe the access they had to technology that I never would imagine, right? And these people, living on the type of income you're talking about, had connectivity that they never would have dreamed of, 6-7 years ago, I guess, right? Not to say that there's so much more that they need to gain, right, when it comes to connecting with the goods and services we have, and we're blessed to have it in our country, right? But it's such a huge need, and I can't imagine how you have to think to serve this vast market, right? And if you're the responsible leader, I know you are, it probably drives you crazy as far as how much bigger you have to get to do what you want to do, right?
Well, I'm a patient leader, and I know that progress does take time, and success is a process. And so when we raise our $20 million fund, knowing that every dollar we're currently investing impacts 13 lives, we will reach 200 million people. And that's a number that I'm going to be very proud of.
Give me that number one more time, Eva.
So we know that every dollar we invest impacts 13 lives. And so with our $20 million fund that we're currently raising, we expect to reach close to 200 million people. And then they're, using business as a force for good is a leverage effect. Not only are you providing eye care to somebody who doesn't have access to it in a sustainable business model, but then that allows them to work, and their family also is impacted positively by that. So I think that there's a way to kind of be able to see the work scale quite quickly, which is really exciting to me. And then just in terms of what do we pick? I get this question a lot, how do you decide what to focus on? Really, this comes down to the fact that we are a venture fund. Our chief investment officer is a venture partner and a venture lawyer. Every member of my investment team has an advanced degree, and most of them have MBAs except for me. And really our focus is on deal flow and understanding what we like and what we don't like about companies, and really zeroing in on businesses that are run by great teams, have unit economics that add up, still care about social impact, and are willing to measure it, because that's really key. And ultimately, kind of create a whole package of a type of company that we think will be legitimate and viable and have a promise of social impact.
Awesome. So in India, when I was in India, like you would probably do, I called a few YPOers that I knew there when I knew I was going to go there, and then from some of my friends in my forum had very very strong friends in India as well. We were in Bangalore, and it was amazing how many YPOers from India called me after I just did a little reach out to them, flew into town to meet with me and all that. But I tell you, there's so much cool entrepreneurism going on there. I mean, I met with so many people that were doing really cool things, way beyond what I'd imagined. There's a company that I'm still kind of interested. I haven't really done a lot with them, but they basically have a very very expensive test they can do by shooting the retina. Basically, you look in this little these lenses and they tell you to look at the blue box and where's it, kind of like an eye test almost, right? But while you're doing it, it's shooting pictures of your retina, and within seconds, it's got a full report of your chance of diabetes, your chance of all different diseases, and if you have anything currently, right? What's your health currently, and what's your odds of I think it was diabetes was one of the biggest things that it really understood, but. They're trying to get this thing to where it's less than $1 per test, so that they can get it to the masses in India, because so many of these people don't have access, as you said before, to great healthcare, right? Or just to understand. And part of the health problem is not knowing if you have something, right? They might be a little sick, but they think it could be dire. They can't do a test to understand. So just the testing alone is uplifting if they get through it and everything's good, right? Which most is the case probably. So just their well-being and their emotional well-being is so much better if they can get tested, to understand what's going on. Because right now they don't go get they don't get physicals like we do once a year or every other year or so. So anyway, it's a really cool technology and super super fast results that they're driving the cost down to. So it's something that you may want to look at for the heck of it, because if they can accomplish what they think they are, it could be incredible. There's one other technology that I'm invested in. A good friend of mine, actually from Dallas. You ever heard of Gentry Beach? Gentry Beach, he's a YPO there. So yeah. Gentry's a friend of mine. He's on a board with me, and he was not a venture guy. He's a hedge fund guy. He's a hedge fund guy, sold his business to Ken Griffin out of Chicago. And anyway, he became a board member of a nonprofit that I'm on. I became good friends with him. And I introduced him to another friend of mine who in India discovered a technology that's curing or improving at least cerebral palsy in a big way, Parkinson's disease in a big way, and many things, many issues of the brain, anything neuron related, right? And so anyway, Gentry, I introduced them to this product in this company because I was trying to help them get into America through the FDA. They're testing in the FDA, and Gentry not only helped with knowledge of how we need to do that, but he then became the president of this company. And this company is going to cure the lives of so many people. It's going to be incredible, right? And example is my son Nick, who has cerebral palsy, went from a D- student as a freshman, sophomore, junior to a B- student, and after 30 days in this technology, doing this stuff, it's called neurocytonics. Anyway, so this technology is coming to America eventually. They're doing double-blind tests in Mexico currently, and it's amazing technology. I saw so many unbelievable things. I saw Parkinson's disease minimized from a stage 3 Parkinson's to a stage 1. I saw just crazy stuff going on. I can go on and on with you. And he's actually one of our podcasts too, the scientist that is behind this. But bottom line is, it's another one that you might look at and say, hey, even invest or not invest, we are going to do some stuff, a bunch of stuff philanthropically to say, this thing for 30 days is like $50,000, but we're going to take a percentage of our patients will be people that don't have the money to do it, right? And we want to expand this thing to serve the world in a bigger way. So it's pretty cool stuff. And if you ever want to look at that, also it'd be fun. But I can imagine, things like this you get thrown at you on a constant basis, right? Really cool things that can solve so many problems, and you have to decide what are you going to invest in? Who's the team that decides? Okay, this is a great one. We got to invest in this and raise capital for it. Or boy, it's a good one, but we don't have enough, right? Who decides these things? So that's got to be a tough thing.